Yeah, so continuing, this is video number 2. Just wanted to continue a little bit with some of my past work. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Toronto Raptors. I had the Toronto Raptors winning the NBA championship. There's a lot of guys out there that are going to say they had the Toronto Raptors, and that's fine. But I had them months out. I had the Raptors months out. I knew it was time for new blood there too in the NBA. I saw what they were trying to do a little bit as the season went along. I thought there was going to be some new blood there too. I thought it was going to be a smaller market. There was some heavy coding there with the Toronto Raptors. We'll get into some of that as I go along with my YouTube channel. But there was coding there with their one jersey there, their red jersey with the North on it, with the pyramid, the top of the pyramid there, and I discussed all that with guys on Discord. And Kaiwi was loaded with coding. There was stuff there that was definitely some heavy coding with Toronto. But anyway, I had them months out. I thought at one time I thought Houston had a shot to get to the finals. But as that played out, I saw they were gonna end up playing Golden State. There was a little bit of coding there also with Golden State, but it was a little bit of a duality. And I had Toronto, and I rode them all the way to the end. So I had the NBA championship as well. So just recapping: Tiger Woods, War of Will, St. Louis Blues, Toronto Raptors, and again, I tell the guys all the time, we all have a gift, and I tell them that we all bring our gift to the table, and my gift is being able to see the ebb and flow of these leagues. I'm able to tie that ebb and flow in with what I call a dog and pony show, and tie it in with the worldwide propaganda and what goes on day to day in the real game, the world game, and I'm able to see. Through these leagues. These leagues have an ebb and flow to them. I've told guys on Discord before that I play at a high level. The good Lord blessed me with as much athleticism as one can have. With His blessings and my genetics from my parents, and growing up in New York around millions of people, I'm a street guy. I'm a street capper. I know sports, and I'm able to size one up in five. I just have an innate ability to see these leagues, and throughout those NBA playoffs, guys say, well, Moretti, sometimes you play these minus 300 games and you don't win any dogs. I win tons of dogs. I mean, it is what it is for the night. What I post for the day is what I see. I win a ton of dogs. In those NBA playoffs and those NHL playoffs, I won dogs. I won dogs on the road. I won dogs in game sevens. I mean, it is what it is. With the games that I post, there's tons of games there. There's money lines, plus money lines. There's negatives, negative 150s. There's dogs. There's parlays. There's my max picks. There's my locks picks. I mean, the work is there. I mean, so anyway, that's some of the work that I've won to this point. Just to go over some of the records of where I was at when the sports went black. MLB last year, Just to recap my MLB season, I was 728 and 467. That's a pretty good body of work, man. I mean, that's 1,195 games played. That's 61%. I played a 60 plus percent to 65% on the daily. My locks picks were 645 and 359. My max plays were 706 and 467. At college hoop, when it went black, I was 644 and 410. NBA, I was 354 and 214. And the NHL, we discussed over time on Discord. NHL was tough. I mean, my old man was bringing me to the Garden when I was, up to his knee. Madison Square Garden, Knicks, Rangers, Old Yankee Stadium, Mets, Giants, Jets, Nets. I mean, I grew up with a bunch of smart, New York street smart, sports guys. And, like I said, I was born with as much talent as one could be born with. I was backspinning baseballs. When I was 15 years old, I was backspinning baseballs 550 feet. I had a cannon for an arm. I mean, I was equally as good in football. I was told. I already knew myself personally. There's no ego here. There's no ego. My guys will tell you, there's no ego here. It is what it is. But for a story for another day, it just wasn't meant to be. And the good Lord didn't want it, and we'll leave it at that. But, I just have a gift. And my gift is being able to see these leagues, like I said, the ebb and flow of these leagues, and I'm able to tie it all in. I'm not going to win them all, but you could tell by my records that my work is proven. I told you it's on Instagram. You could take a minute. You can go over to Instagram. You can dissect my work. It's all proven. So those were some of my records going into the blackout. Everything is in the description below. I got my Patreon. You can Google that. You can get my Patreon. My Patreon is broken down into 4 tiers. I have a $5 tier, I have a $10 tier, I have a $15 tier, and I have a $25 tier. There's a tier there for everybody, all players. We understand that money is tight. I'm grateful for anybody that comes my way. It's up to you where you see fit, what you're capable of doing. Whether it's the $5 tier, the $10 tier, the $15 tier, and the $25 tier. I'm going to cut this short here. I'll continue with the tiers on the Patreon. I'll explain that. I'm kind of all over the place here a little bit. It's my first video, but I will get better at this. I will get a little bit more professional. And I'm very organized with what I post day to day on my Patreon, and I'll go over that I'll continue to tell you a little bit more about that in the next video. So I'm going to cut this one here, and I'll be right back. Thanks.